Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piwowarski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on the Rundown. 2A views, conservative news, and Craig. Thank God it's Thursday. Nope, no music.
Not quite the same, because we're actually kind of thirsty on Thursday.
Oh, gotcha.
Gotta love it. How is your Thursday going thus far?
About this good right now. About that good.
About that good. That is good to hear. That is excellent to hear. Yep. I'm glad that all things are working out for you today, my friend. So before we go ahead and get started, how about we take a moment and give a quick shout out to our sponsors?
Absolutely. In fact, our first sponsor, I actually spent a couple hours with those guys today over at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. You can get your AR barrels and rifle and pistol calibers, any length you desire. Soon to come Glock barrels. Glock barrels fluted, threaded, multicolors, whatever you want to get. They'll be coming out with them soon at hitmanindustries.net. The California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you could take part in California's future today. Hog holsters, the best concealment holsters on the market you could get right now. Go to HAWGholsters.com. That's hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all one word, all caps, no spaces. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you want some awesome field gear, tactical gear, going hiking kind of gear, go check out our friends at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. So do us a favor. Well, do yourself a favor. Do them a favor. Anyway, just visit them. All you got to do is follow the links in the description to this program. You can check out their websites. You'll see what they have to offer. You can spend some money with them. And when you do, make sure you let them know that it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. Also, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And if you're watching us on Facebook and if you're watching us on Facebook and YouTube, make sure you hit that notification button. That way, you'll get notified as soon as we go live, and you can participate in the live chat as the program is taking place. And we don't care how you partake. All we care is that you partake and that you encourage your friends to do the same.
That's right. Consume.
There you go. Consume. All right. So let's go ahead and get into today's news. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start with good old Biden. Joe Biden, like his approval numbers, as was stated in the title of this particular piece. Well, our good friend Joe Biden took a wee bit of a tumble today. That's right. He was at the Air Force Academy. And needless to say that he kind of fell down on the job while he was there. Now, mind you, his speech wasn't really that good. In fact, this was probably even worse than his actual tumble.
And your class is one of the most diverse classes in the history of this academy or any academy to graduate. That's why we're strong. That's why we're who we are. That's why we'll never give up. That's why.
That's right. So he decided to say that diversity was our greatest strength. In other words, that they're diverse. Not that they're better at their jobs, not that they're smarter, not that they're stronger, not that they're more well-equipped or more educated, but that they are more diverse. And needless to say, I think with many in the military, his words fell, well, kind of flat. Probably about as flat as he did. I think he was pointing, he was saying, I think that was Donald Trump that tripped me.
Yeah. Or he did the old, have that removed.
Make sure to have that removed. At what point do we just say, look, dude, you're too old to be president? Done.
I don't know if you could bring the video back up there, Craig, and just leave it at still for a moment, maybe halfway through, all the way through at the end of it. I don't know if that's possible or not. I don't know if we could do that. So you're ready to pause it. You're ready to pause it. There, right there.
Oh shoot, I can't pause it. Not from here.
There, right there. Freeze frame. Freeze frame.
Can't freeze frame it. Sorry, sir.
Freeze frame. Okay, all right. So you have the cadet walking off stage, two cadets walking off stage, right? One cadet saluting the other cadet because he's been a lieutenant for 3 seconds longer than the other one, so they're having a little fun with each other. They see the president go down. They both turn around and walk away. Yeah, done. I got no part of that. I got no part of that. What's going on back there? And then you got looks like a 3-star general sitting right there, the African American general of the most diverse Air Force ever, watches the president fall at his feet, and the guy's like, "Man, what are you gonna do?"
Well, but that's part of the problem, Mike.
Look at him. They don't care
okay.
about
We'll play. Let's play it. Let's play it one more time. One more time for good measure.
Watch the two cadets. So you see the two cadets once that one gets there. Look at him. Oh, he goes down. He goes down. The other cadets, they kept walking. Right. They keep walking, and look at the general sitting right there behind them. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, they're fine. It's okay. No big deal. Yeah, I don't care. Just get off the stage already, bozo. And now he's laughing.
No, at the end there, it looked like he was laughing at him.
Yeah, yep.
I just don't know, man. I'm like, now keep in mind, we should have known as soon as he fell upstairs, we should have known that this would be a precedent-setting president.
Listen, he's going to beat Gerald Ford on the number of falls that he takes over his course of his presidency. You know, General Ford or President Ford was the President Ford was the falling president. You know, but now Biden's got him beat. He's doing it in 4K HD upstairs. You know, that's hard to beat. That's hard to beat.
I don't. Yeah, first of all, he said something stupid, then he did something stupid, and that's pretty much, I think, the way his presidency is going. At least, you know, for those who complained on the right, those who complained about Donald Trump, at least you only had to worry about him saying stupid things. He didn't, from time to time. You didn't really ever have to worry about him doing stupid things.
You know, this reminds me, like, Craig, you ever been in a restaurant and there's some 4-year-old, 5-year-old kid just running around, tearing the place up, and everybody is just like, will his parents please do something? Will somebody please do something about it, right? And then you see the kid tearing through, and he hits a wet spot and falls down and wipes out, and nails his head, and he goes down, and everybody else in the restaurant just goes,
yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Yep.
Hey, that's what you get.
That's about how it should go.
That's the same look I just saw on everybody's face there at the Air Force Academy when the president went down. They all were like, yep. Nobody going to get first aid bags. Nobody going to make sure he's okay. Just all, yep. Hey, who's next?
Because they kind of expected. It was one of those things where it was only a matter of time before he went down.
Yeah.
And welcome to the United States of America. On that note, we're going to move on. The next conversation is going to be about the debt ceiling. That's right. You guys have heard all about this, and you're probably tired of hearing about it. But the debt ceiling has actually passed the House of Representatives, and it did so, by the way, relatively easily. Now, you know, let me at least do this. Let me at least pull the story up so that y'all can see it. This, obviously, according to CNN, the way the debt ceiling passed was a overwhelming 2 out of 3 Republicans voted for it. 2 out of 3 Republicans, so 2/3 of Republicans. 3/4 of Democrats actually voted for it. It wasn't anything near. It wasn't. I'll put it to you this way: it wasn't what I think most conservatives wanted out of the debt ceiling, but I think it was more than many thought that McCarthy would get out of the president or out of Democrats. What do you think?
I think that it's all about timing, right, Craig? And they did. They went into the news cycle on a long holiday weekend and kind of put it to bed so nobody would hear anything about it because they knew there was going to be controversy. They knew the president. Well, the president didn't know. The guy doesn't know up from down, obviously, but McCarthy knew that they were going to take flack for it, so they timed it to go into the end of the news cycle, so it would be barely over a 72-hour weekend, right, instead of a 48-hour weekend. And if you were able to watch the news and dig and see some news, you saw that there was a lot of fight going on from the Republican Party there, from the Freedom Caucus portion of the Republican Party, that this was a whole lot of us getting screwed going on. And they made it very, very clear that they would not be voting for this, and that they were going to start moving for McCarthy's removal from that position over this.
Well, but here's the thing. So you look at it. I mean, you had members of the Freedom Caucus actually voted for it. You had Marjorie Taylor Greene vote for it. You had Tom McClintock vote for it. You had Jordan voted for it. And I think that what they realized was this: look, Republicans held one of the two houses, and or Democrats held two of the houses as well as the White House. For them, I think that the fact that they got him to negotiate, even after he said he was absolutely not going to negotiate, getting him to agree to any sort of freezing on spending and any sort of work requirements, for them was a win. But I agree, it's not the bill that we need as a country. I'm just going to be really curious. I happen to think that if we want that bill, we need to win elections. Meaning we have elections coming up here. We need to win the presidency. We need to take back the Senate. Then we can have the budget bill that we know this nation needs.
If there's anything left, Greg, I mean, it's continuing to throw away more money. Bad money after worse money. There's not going to be, a budget to manage, because you're just going to come to office and the guy's going to be standing at the door with a sack full of hammers wanting his money back. You're so far in debt.
Well, the problem is how we got here was incrementally. It wasn't just one big, huge, all of a sudden, oh my God, look at how much money we're spending. Well, anyone who thinks that you're going to turn the budget around in one fell swoop is not being realistic. They are just simply are not. Because here's what I will tell. First of all, 62% of the budget is mandatory spending, meaning until we can address some of that, and then of that, a huge portion of the other stuff isn't even really discretionary. And then on top of that, you've got a lot of budget. Probably about 15% of the overall budget was actually up for conversation or negotiation this time around. You cannot have true spending change, true budget reform, unless the entire budget is on the table. And I don't even think that there is enough will within the Republican Party to have that conversation, to make that happen right now.
It says, among other things, some of the conservatives in the House criticized the scale of the cuts, arguing they were not fully in line with the earlier partisan bill to raise the debt ceiling that House Republicans passed in April. This is... I think it was one of those, they were gone for the weekend, Craig. Many people were home with their families and did not care, including members of Congress. And like I said, the Freedom Caucus has said they're putting McCarthy on notice and they're coming for him. And they called this vote for Republicans a career-defining vote for every Republican. You know now who's a conservative and who's a member of the swamp.
Well, I will just put it this way. I would not classify Jim Jordan, Marjorie Taylor Greene, or Tom McClintock as members of the quote-unquote swamp. My issue with the way, once again, is, first of all, 2/3 of Republicans in the House voted for this. So I feel pretty confident that McCarthy's place, at least right now as Speaker, is pretty well safe. I just don't see that being a political reality of them taking him out right now. But once again, the reality's got to be, and this is what I would say to every member of the Freedom Caucus, what are you doing right now to make sure that there are members getting elected in areas that Democrats currently represent? Because if you're not doing anything right now, if you're not out raising money, if you're not out stomping on doors, knocking on doors, if you're not out there helping people, more Republicans get elected, more conservatives get elected, then all you're doing is blowing off at the mouth, which, by the way, is not uncommon for many Republicans, let alone members of the Freedom Caucus. Let me see you put your money and your actions where your mouth is.
roughly half of the. Hold on, I just got blocked. Come on.
Well, one of the other things that I wanted to know.
71 Republican no votes. Roughly half of the 71 Republican no votes came from members of the ultra-conservative House Freedom Caucus. Group member Lauren Boebert missed the vote, but had planned to oppose the bill. So I guess she must have been home dealing with something else. But
right, it was clearly more important. Something else was clearly more important to her. But my point is,
I think she's actually going through a divorce this week, Craig. To give you the honest truth, she went home to finish serving the papers to her husband. But yeah,
right. Well, like I said, she had other stuff to deal with.
Yeah,
because that couldn't have waited a week.
I'm saying she had
that couldn't have waited a week or two.
Hey, once you've been with somebody long enough, you want it over with. Okay. When's my court date?
I wouldn't know because I'm happily married, so I wouldn't know. So
I'm speaking for your exes.
My exes. One of the things that I did want to make sure to note was I knew that the deal that passed out of the House was not going to be the final deal because when he said we need to sit down and negotiate, that bill was the Republicans' opening salvo in the negotiation. So I knew that wasn't going to be where they were going to wind up. The question was, were they going to give up the farm? And I think that if you measure this based on where it could have been, where you wanted it, I think depending on those two depends on whether or not this was a success. I will just say this. It moved the needle in the right direction, but it's nowhere near. It's kind of like going from an F to an F+.
I don't understand how when you control the House, I get we got a couple of votes that can go either way, right? But the Republicans control the House. That's your first thing is let's go negotiate. How about this? You control the House. You write the bill and you tell the left to go get bent and let them come to you rather than you going to their boss in the midnight trying to sharpen up his brown nosing skills.
You're going to negotiate with somebody, right? Anyway, the Republicans were not going to take a chance on letting it default because they know that every time they've gotten close, every time the Congress has been shut down, it's been Republicans that have taken the heat for it every single time.
Yeah, but here's what happened this time though, Craig. You're the one trying to buy the car, right? And before you even get on the lot, the used salesman came to you and wants to make you a deal. You haven't even seen the car yet. You don't even know what the price.
And that's not entirely accurate. You're actually at the bus stop waiting on the bus to take you home. Oh, wait, the bus isn't running. So you're just sitting there at the bus stop all night. And then the guy comes over and says, hey, maybe we need to – I could still probably sell you this car for a deal. In the end, you took someone who didn't want to negotiate, who refused to negotiate, and they actually wound up negotiating.
Don't be throwing untruths out there. The buses were running through this week. They didn't stop last week. It was this week the buses were going to run.
I don't know. I just happen to think that people who are how do I want to put it this way? People are trying to make the perfect the enemy of the good. I think they could have gotten more. I don't know that they would have gotten or could have gotten much more. But I definitely believe that in the end, Republicans did better than the Democrats did in this. And when you have a deal that both sides are unhappy about, usually that's a good sign that it's a good compromise.
Well, maybe that's how California Republicans feel. So we'll just agree to disagree that I don't think the Republican Party did enough here.
No, I think that's how at least, 2/3 of the Republicans in the House felt.
Well, that's what I'm saying here. Those 2/3 would be those swamp rats. If you want to get up and you really want to do something, instead of just making sound bites, and whether it happens to be on YouTube or C-SPAN, and you really want to do something, you stand up there and you say, no, this is a piece of crap. It does nothing to address the border. You're cutting military funding.
That has nothing to do with the spend. That is not.
And tell them that. Yes,
you want to negotiate every single thing that is in existence. You want to negotiate it all during the debt ceiling, and all I'm saying is that is politically unrealistic. Period. Because people tend to say they want what they want until they get it, and then they're like, wait, what's this? You tell them, well, you said you wanted a crab sandwich. I gave you a crab sandwich. Why are you mad that I gave you the crab sandwich that you asked for?
Right, and I'm the one saying I want the lobster sandwich during craft service meal. That's listen. We don't normally do that here. Well, guess what? I want to, so we're doing it.
Well, I see it as a move in the right direction, but not where we need to be.
I think it's the advancing to the rear direction is what happened.
No, because we didn't lose ground. How did we lose ground? Explain to me how we lost ground.
All right, Craig. Do you when the gun grabbers come to you, do you want your rights back, or you just want to maintain?
No, I didn't say maintain. We didn't maintain. We took ground.
You didn't take anything. You didn't get anything.
We reduced spending from what it was going to be. We reduced spending from where it was going to be. Right. We actually expanded work requirements for social welfare services.
You increased it. They came in the door and they said, and I'm just going to throw a number out. They came in the door and they said, "We're taking 10 of your guns, sir." And you said, "No, you can only have 8." Aha,
no,
I won.
That's not that. No, but that's not what happened in this deal. That's not what happened at all in this deal. Sorry. Nope. No, we can spend the rest of the time negotiating or talking about the debt limits bill, but that's not what happened. What happened was we said we wanted 15. They said, "Well, we're only going to do 11." Or they said 12, and we said, "Well, how about 11?" And so we settled on 11. So we got one more gun than we otherwise would have got. Not as much as we wanted, but we got more than we would have got.
You lost. You didn't gain. You lost.
No, if you had 10, and you said we wanted 15, and we settled on 11, we got more than we came in with. We left with more than what we came in with.
Because you and I obviously read a different bill, so let's move on.
Yeah, clearly we must have read a different bill.
I read the right one. You read the wrong one. Yep.
No, I'm sorry. I know. If there's one thing I do know how to do, I know how to read a bill.
I read the right one. You read the left one.
Okay. Moving right along, Hunter Biden to be Hunter Biden to be a 2A poster child. Okay, this was funny, and I really honestly picked this story just because of the headline. And this has to do with Hunter Biden investigation and the fact that now that all of these images, everything having to do with all of the basically his possession of a firearm while using and being addicted to illicit drugs. Well, according to federal law, that's a crime. Well, now you have his lawyer, Hunter Biden's lawyer, is now actually arguing that, this may be a perfect argument in order to fight for the Second Amendment. Because even if you are using illicit drugs, you should have a right to own and possess a firearm.
Who's arguing that?
Hunter Biden's lawyer. As well as, by the way, some gun groups.
Okay. Again, I think you and I've had this conversation many times. There's a big difference between own and possess. Those words are two different things, completely different things. If you want to be an illegal drug user, be an illicit drug user, be the user of something that alters your mental state, I don't care if you own a gun. I care where that gun is. That's what I want to know. Is that gun in a safe? Is that gun secure? Or are you outside shooting, purple dragons? That's the difference between own and possess. You want to own the firearm and you have not been convicted of the felony, but you have a drug problem, so you keep your stuff locked up. Okay. I don't have a counterpoint for that. But if you're the guy who wants to go out and chase those dragons with your shotgun and possess it while doing such, then no. Then my answer is no.
Well, and I don't disagree with you. I think the problem here is what's legal. And that's where the argument, I think, is going to be coming up, because what we know is what is legal is, yet you're not supposed to be a user of illicit drugs, especially not crack cocaine.
Right.
and possess a firearm. What?
But here's the issue. The ATF creates this form. The ATF determines what the difference of own and possess means on this. It's not perjury. We've seen this many, many times when people fill these forms out incorrectly. It's, how could I perjure something that the ATF decided what the meanings were, and this is not the law? They're saying you filled out a form incorrectly. There's a difference between you filled it out incorrectly because I didn't understand the difference between possess and use, as opposed to I am not a convicted felon and you click the wrong box. So
I don't disagree with
when you get down in the weeds with this and mental health and everything else, because ATF's just making crap up as they go along.
I don't disagree with one argument you just made. I just think it's funny that Hunter Biden may be the poster child of this argument.
He's actually looking pretty good in the pic. Like he's gained a little weight back. Like he switched like to diet heroin or something instead of full strength.
he's doing diet heroin.
It's got
good stuff. Good stuff. All right, this next story. All right, so now we've talked about what's been going on with like the LA Dodgers, right? The LA Dodgers, they're having a pride event. They invited a bunch of different groups, including a group called the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, which, by the way, is a group of men in drag or drag queens who dress up and pretend to be nuns, mocking basically the Catholic Church. They basically attack an entire religion. And a lot of people, in particular, you can imagine, you think of the population of Los Angeles, there's a significant number of Catholics that probably happen to be Dodgers fans. And they decided, that a lot of them decided to speak out against it. Well, then you had the Dodgers say, well, we're going to uninvite them. And then you had outrage from the LGBTQ community. So then they said, well, now we're going to re-invite them. And so basically, as all of this is going back and forth, the California State Legislature's LGBTQ caucus decided to honor the group at the center of this Los Angeles Dodger controversy. Let's come down here. It says the California State Legislature's LGBTQ caucus is poised to honor a member of the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, the controversial group at the center of a backlash engulfing the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, who identify as a group of queer and trans nuns, are known for mocking Christian beliefs, including holding an annual Foxy Mary Hunky Jesus contest, pole dancing and crosses and using the saying, "Go forth and sin some more." Now, Mike, this is the interesting thing to me, and I thought someone raised a very interesting question about this. If these nuns were mocking Buddhists, or if they were mocking Muslims, would the LGBTQ caucus would the California legislature still be honoring them?
Oh yeah, if it was going after one of their favorite oppressed little groups that they claim are oppressed, sure they would. They'd be like, well, you can't say that to Muslims. You can't say that to, people of Islam religion. They would be going nuts. They'd have a new cause to stand up on. But because it's a mainstream religion, because it's Catholicism, it's Christianity, then they're okay with the bashing of such, rather than their favorite choices. Whether it's whatever. What do you got, Jediism or something out there and going on in California? You guys got the craziest religions in the world out there.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to read this real quick. It says, honoring the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, a group whose sole mission is to sexualize nuns and mock Jesus, reveals the true depth of hatred California's elected officials have for the millions of Catholics residing in the state. Mark Trammell, executive director of the Center for American Liberty, told Fox News Digital. And that's really what it comes down to, because, and this goes back to the whole, what I'd say, the civil rights things. If you're one of the favored groups, then you get special rights and special protections. If you're not, then, well, you have no civil rights. So in other words, it's okay, for example, to mock and make fun of straight white men. Right? That's okay. It's okay to make fun of Catholics. It's okay to make fun of Christians. But if you do the exact same thing to Muslims or to black people or brown people Asians is kind of funny because they on one hand, you're not allowed to make fun of them, but you sure can fight to keep them out of college. At least that's according to Democrats.
Right.
You're okay.
True. Very true. Craig, I'm looking up some of the California's best religions. So you got the Children of God, right? Remember that one, Children of God. You've got the Source family. You've got the Symbionese Liberation Army. That's California. You've got the Blackburn cult. Let's see what else we got here. Mankind United. Now, I thought Mankind United was a soccer team, actually, but
I was literally That's what Manchester United, that's what
Yeah.
it translates to, is Mankind United.
It's aggressive Christianity. That's a good one there. Let's see. Hua Zhang Si, the Marcus Wesson cult. Hold on, we're almost there.
Now, where is
Fellowship of
Scientology
Friends.
based out of?
That's Tom Cruise's living room. And Berkeley's.
You
Berkeley's
did hear that
psychic
the guy
arts.
from that 70s show got convicted in a retrial of 2 out of 3 rapes, right?
Who, Danny
he's a-
Masterson?
Yes. He
No,
was
I
assigned.
did not hear that. No.
Yeah, he got convicted. He got convicted in a retrial for 2 out of 3, and evidently that was tied to Scientology and stuff going on within that. Or, anyway, that was a theme within the trial.
Criminal or civil side?
I
Was that on the
believe it's
criminal or the
criminal.
civil side?
I believe that's criminal.
No, I have not seen that.
Yeah, no, it was. I don't know. It's just bad. Oh my. Okay, so in case you're wondering, I feel so bad that I have to do this. Going back to the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, this is the image that they have up on the Fox News website.
Let's see that here.
I know. I can barely keep
yeah.
my lunch
Oh,
down
yeah.
after that.
Yeah, that one on the right's indulging a little bit too much.
Indulging just a little bit too much. But I'm like,
Indulging in too many cheesecakes.
right, but I'm like this. And I once again, you're an adult, you do what you want, but when you decide you're going to mock someone's faith, like I said, any other faith, they would not be allowed to. Elected officials should not be honoring these folks. I'm sorry. You notice nobody in the Catholic Church, nobody in the community, no conservatives had any issue, didn't say anything about them honoring any of the other groups that were included there, because the other ones may disagree with the tenets of the Catholic Church and the beliefs of the Catholic Church, but they are not, as their mission, openly mocking and making fun of them. That's the thing. Is literally what they're doing in other cases would be considered a hate crime or hate speech.
No, agreed. So we'll
Right.
see what
If it
happens there at Dodger Stadium. By the way, Dodgers are 34-23, half game up on the Arizona Diamondbacks, and currently have the best home record in baseball. So,
Well, thank you for sharing.
just in case you wanted to know. Yeah.
Just
Giants in
in
third.
case I wanted to know.
Yep.
There you go.
We got the
Okay,
baseball coming in.
and on that note, we're going to go on to our parting shots. Brought to you by Hog Holsters. If you want to get a Hog Holster, go to hogholsters.com. Make sure you use discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, all one word, and get your Hog Holster today. Our first one up today in honor of El Presidente and in baseball. So we kind of hit 2 themes in one with our first parting shot. You want to go ahead and describe this one for the audience, for the listeners?
So this was we saw the picture of President Biden on the ground falling, and now it's him falling on home plate, and the home plate umpire getting ready to punch him out. We're like, yeah, out of there.
Good stuff. All right, now, I don't know if you saw, but
By the
last
way,
week
you ever
Fetterman
seen
decided
umpire
that he
shoes?
wasn't
You ever
going
seen
to
umpire
actually
shoes before?
dress or put on appropriate clothing, shall we say, or wasn't going to put on a suit and tie for a Senate press conference that he was doing, and this is how he wound up showing up. It's several senators, and I'll just say the one at the podium right now. In this one is Bernie Sanders. Now, all of them are wearing gray suits and ties, and Fetterman decides to show up in shorts, a hoodie, and running shoes. And the title up above says, "When your mom forgets it's picture day at school."
Why is this guy there? Can we not remove this guy from office? Can we not get him a hearing? Can we not get him a mental capacity hearing and get him out of there?
We should. We honestly should.
Listen, you won the seat. I get it. Put another Democrat in there. Get this knucklehead out.
He is. Yeah. He again is another one who, even if he had not had a stroke, I just do not know that he is. I mean, He is known. He never had a job until he became lieutenant governor of the state of Pennsylvania. Before that, he just basically lived off his parents. Anyway, I digress. But anyway, funny meme nonetheless. And then we talk about free speech. This one basically says, what do we want? Free speech. For everyone? Just for us. That's not free speech. You're a racist.
You're a racist. Yes, you are.
Mm-hmm. By the way.
Yes, Craig, you're a racist.
Speaking of racist. Okay.
I love it.
It's the McDonald's arch, right? And it's right next to the word exit. So you're assuming that it's basically saying exit with like an M next to it. And then you've got Alex the bartender, otherwise known as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, looking at it saying, Mexico's leaving the EU?
I wish they'd leave North America.
Oh, that is entirely
not
too
country,
much fun.
Just the people that, not the whole country, just people that are on the wrong side of the wall. That's all.
Just the people who are on the wrong side of the wall. There you go. Okay, Mike. Well, it's about that time. But before we go, how about you give a quick shout out to our sponsors?
Yeah, let's go to Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. If you got an AR from in the past 5 years, probably got one of their barrels, don't even know it. Now you can buy from them direct. Just go to hitmanindustries.net for your next AR build or to rebarrel your current rifle. California Republican Assembly fighting the good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. Make sure you check them out. And of course, if you want some awesome field gear, tactical gear, web gear, going hiking, fishing, whatever it happens to be, go to uscombatgear.com.
Good stuff. Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. Please take a moment. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. Once again, encourage your friends to do the same. We're going to be back tomorrow on Freedback Friday. And on that note, we out.
Whoop, whoop.